Hey and welcome to the Daily Arsenal News Show. Let's begin with our daily news. Gabriel Martinelli agrees a new Gunners contract. Arsenal forward Gabriel Martinelli has agreed a new contract at the Emirates Stadium, according to The Athletic. The 21-year-old is reportedly set to pen fresh terms until the summer of 2027. Martinelli's current contract runs until the end of next season, although Arsenal hold a two-year option. However, the Brazilian has now agreed a new deal to extend his stay with the Premier League leaders. Ornstein said the following: "The draft deal is in the process of being finalized." According to The Sun, Martinelli's salary will go from £70,000 a week to £180,000 a week. As per Spotrac, this would make him the third highest earning player at Arsenal behind Thomas Partey and Gabriel Jesus. Martinelli has played 26 games for Arsenal in all competitions, scoring 7 goals. His efforts have helped Mikel Arteta's team climb to the top of the Premier League. The Gunners are now aiming to win the title for the first time since 2004. Fantastic news for Arsenal and for Martinelli. The Gunners took a chance on the player when they signed him from Ituano for a modest £6 million several years ago. Martinelli impressed from the off, becoming the first teenager since Nicolas Anelka to net double figures in his debut Arsenal season. Although it took the Brazilian a while to become an established regular, he is now absolutely shining at Arsenal. Martinelli and Arsenal have grown and prospered together, and in the coming years, hopefully the two will win a lot together. Arsenal dealt major injury blow following Manchester City loss. Arsenal have been dealt a major injury blow with Thomas Partey needing a scan on a rib problem. Arsenal faced Manchester City in the FA Cup on Friday night, where Mikel Arteta's were knocked out of the competition. A second-half goal from Nathan Ake was enough to separate the two sides, but an injury to Partey could be more of a concern for Arteta as they look to continue their Premier League form. Phil McNulty has confirmed that Partey has a problem with his ribs and will undergo a scan to discover the severity of the injury. Arsenal faces struggling Everton in their next game, but with a new manager likely to be appointed before their fixture, Goodison Park could be reunited. Losing Partey is a devastating blow for Arsenal, especially with a lack of covers in this position. The likes of Albert Sambi Lokonga have struggled this season, and Mohamed Elneny is currently out injured, so it wouldn't be a surprise to see Arteta bring in an additional midfielder before the transfer window closes. Arsenal could sell Albert Sambi Lokonga if they can sign Moises Caicedo. Sky Sports journalist Darmish Sheth has claimed that Arsenal will consider selling Albert Sambi Lokonga this month if they can sign a replacement in central midfield. The Gunners have been heavily linked with a move for Brighton's Moises Caicedo. A £60 million bid from Mikel Arteta's side was turned down by the Seagulls yesterday, but the North Londoners are expected to go back in with an improved offer. Caicedo's arrival, should it happen, could end Lokonga's Arsenal career. Arsenal are short of options in the middle of the park. Thomas Partey and Granit Xhaka are Arteta's first-choice midfielders, while Albert Sambi Lokonga and Mohamed Elneny are the only two backups. To make things worse, Elneny has suffered a serious injury, while Partey had to be substituted at half-time against Manchester City last night because of a problem in his ribs. Arsenal could end up with just Xhaka and Lokonga in central midfield soon, which is probably why Arteta is really pushing to sign a new man in the middle of the park. Caicedo appears to be his top target. Right after speaking about Arsenal's rejected bid for Caicedo, Sheth said on Sky Sports, "Kind of interlinked with all of this is that Monaco have approached Arsenal over the possibility of signing the midfielder Albert Sambi Lokonga. I am told Arsenal will only allow him to leave if they can bring in a replacement. That all ties in with what we have been talking about, Arsenal's bid for Caicedo just now." Lokonga's case is a really interesting one. The Belgian, branded as a supremely gifted player, has bundles of talent and potential. He is excellent on the ball, can pick out a pass, and has the ability to drive past players into the opposition third. However, the biggest issue with him is the defensive side of his game. Lokonga's positioning errors can be infuriating at times. Just ask Martin Odegaard, who shouted at him 3 times towards the end of the game against Manchester City last night. It will be interesting to see what will happen with Lokonga in the next few days. If Caicedo comes in and Arsenal receive a good offer for the Belgian, we won't be surprised at all to see him moved on. How Roy Keane reacted to Leandro Trossard's first Arsenal start. Arsenal newcomer Leandro Trossard made his first start for the Gunners in Friday's FA Cup meeting with Manchester City. The Belgium international joined Arsenal from Brighton last week for a reported £21 million fee plus add-ons. Trossard put pen to paper on a contract worth a reported £90,000 a week until the summer of 2027. The 28-year-old made his debut just days after joining, coming on as a substitute against Manchester United in the Premier League. On Friday, Mikel Arteta named Trossard in the Arsenal starting 11 for the first time in arguably the toughest fixture in English football. The Gunners headed to the Etihad Stadium to take on Pep Guardiola's high-flying charges. Sadly, it wasn't to be for Arsenal, who lost 1-0 due to a 64th-minute goal from Nathan Ake. Trossard gave a great account of himself, prompting praise from ITV Sport pundit Roy Keane at halftime. He said, as transcribed by Sky Sports, considering he is only been at the club for a couple of weeks, he already looks like an Arsenal type of a player. The gear suits him, he looks brave and he knows the league very well. He's shown good movement and has created 2 chances as well as having a shot himself. Trossard did really well on his full debut for Arsenal. He appears to have settled into Mikel Arteta's style quickly. The Belgian came close to scoring with a fierce left-footed strike, but City goalkeeper Steven Ortega was equal to it. Trossard also got the better of his fullback a number of times, and overall, he looks like a very solid signing for Arsenal. Moises Caicedo could skip Brighton training today to force Arsenal move. Arsenal appear to be heading closer to doing a deal to sign Moises Caicedo this month from Brighton, with the player now wanting out. Caicedo took the bold step of taking to Instagram last night to claim he wants out of Brighton. He suggests the club take the massive £60 million plus fee being offered by Arsenal and reinvest it in the squad and the club. Of course, Caicedo's move will have gone down like a lead balloon at the Amex. However, the Ecuadorian doesn't seem to be done there. According to Fabrizio Romano, Caicedo is now planning on missing training this weekend to further show his hand. Romano claimed last night that although nothing has been decided, Caicedo is considering skipping training. Of course, whether or not Roberto De Zerbi even wants him there is another matter. Caicedo is clearly doing his utmost to get out right now. Arsenal are thought to be considering a second bid, while Chelsea will also be monitoring the situation as well. Roberto De Zerbi will now face a tough task in managing the situation in the coming days. After ousting Leandro Trossard for similar attitudes, it's hard to see De Zerbi doing anything different. It's all a bit of really. Yes, you can understand Caicedo wanting to join Arsenal, but at the same time, it was only a week ago he was saying he didn't want to go anywhere. Brighton just needs to sell now. They should take their £65 million or so and run. It's all well and good Caicedo doing this to force the move and show his intent, but on the other hand, he is also showing a bit of a bad trait in his character. Will Mikel Arteta really want that in his squad? If Caicedo is effectively willing to go on strike, then it suggests he might do the same down the line. Of course, there is always more to these sorts of things, but Caicedo is clearly doing all in his power to force Brighton to act. Whether or not Arsenal see that as a good look remains to be seen. Real Madrid could ruin Declan Rice's hopes. Arsenal are known to be keen on signing Declan Rice from West Ham this summer, but it appears the Gunners won't have a clear run. Rice is expected to depart the Hammers this summer. Arsenal have been linked with Rice in recent weeks, while it's well known that Chelsea will also try to sign the midfielder. However, while both English clubs will fancy their chances of signing Rice, respected Italian journalist Gianluca Di Marzio has claimed that Real Madrid might also be in the mix. Speaking to Soccer News, Di Marzio said that Madrid boss Carlo Ancelotti is a huge fan of Rice, so a move to Spain can't be ruled out. Di Marzio went on to say, I think Manchester United and Arsenal would also be good destinations for him. And maybe we can even add Real Madrid to that list. Carlo Ancelotti is a big fan of his qualities, so you can never forget to mention Real Madrid for the simple reason that Carlo Ancelotti likes it in Declan Rice. Lauded by David Moyes as being brilliant for England in the World Cup, Rice is expected to command a fee of around £80 million in the summer. Arsenal, meanwhile, are keen on signing a new midfielder. Reports suggest a bid of £60 million has gone in for Moises Caicedo, which could impact the Rice pursuit. It's always an issue for any club when Real Madrid start getting involved. Players find it hard to turn down the lure of such a club, and who can blame them? However, with Rice, you do get the feeling he'd rather remain in England. Moving to Arsenal or Chelsea means he doesn't have to uproot his family either. Of course, Madrid might well tempt him, but for now, Arsenal remain confident when it comes to signing the midfielder. Of course, if a move for Caicedo is done, then Arsenal fans will question if that means they won't be signing Declan Rice in the summer. But Sky Sports have claimed that Arsenal signing Moises Caicedo will have no impact on their potential summer pursuit of West Ham's Declan Rice. Should Arsenal end up with both Declan Rice and Moises Caicedo, then it will feel like Arsenal are here to stay. If they do win the league, then add Rice and Caicedo, then more titles are in their sights. Certainly, Gunners fans will be delighted to see this sort of report. Mikel Arteta issues Moises Caicedo response. The end of the winter transfer window is fast approaching, and teams will frantically try to strengthen their squad before the market closes to have a strong end to the season. While Arsenal do not need to panic as the season has started off very well, there is still work that can be done to improve the squad. Two positions seem to be the main targets for the Gunners, as Edu has reportedly been chasing players in the midfield and wing areas. A midfielder the Gunners have been linked with is Moises Caicedo from Brighton and Hove Albion. Arsenal ramped up their interest on Friday as a £60 million bid for Moises Caicedo had been rejected. Arsenal lost 1-0 in the FA Cup fourth round against Manchester City on Friday evening. After the defeat, Mikel Arteta was asked about Caicedo's statement. He said, "You know that I am not gonna comment on any player till anything is done, and I will continue like that. Sorry. We have been pretty active, we have some necessities, and if something else is available, the club is willing to try to do it when it's reasonable, and hopefully it's a player that can improve our squad." With 4 days remaining in the transfer window, Arsenal are set for a frantic end to get this deal over the line. It remains to be seen if Caicedo will wear red and white come the Tuesday deadline. Arsenal joined 4 other Premier League clubs in race to sign highly rated attacker Elye Wahi. Montpellier striker Elye Wahi is reportedly on the radar of a number of Premier League clubs. According to Foot Mercato, the likes of Tottenham Hotspur and Arsenal have been following the player closely this season. Apparently, Manchester United, Manchester City and Liverpool are keeping tabs on the 20-year-old as well. Wahi has 7 goals to his name in League One this season, and he has a big future ahead of him. The 20-year-old has the potential to develop into a top-class player, and Arsenal could certainly use someone like him. The Gunners have Gabriel Jesus as the only reliable striker at the club, and Mikel Arteta needs to add more depth to the position. Wahi could be an understudy to the Brazilian international for now and then replace him as the club's first choice striker in due course of time. It will be interesting to see if Arsenal come forward with a concrete proposal for the player this month. The report from Foot Mercato claims that a transfer is unlikely this month unless there is an incredible late offer. Arsenal have already signed Leandro Trossard from Brighton this month, and they might not want to splash out on an attacker again. A summer move would be more sensible. I will be uploading daily Arsenal news show, so keep your eyes on the channel and don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate your support. Peace out.